So without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker tonight, storyteller Paul Jackson.
Gumadoo. That means, how are you? Gadikanap. Come in, sit down, watch bed, and listen. I had to really think about this because Spirit Mountain of Avi Kwa Ame is so sacred to us, and we've been fighting this battle for years and years, and I'm really glad to see it come this far. We never thought we'd see this. But what I did, I had to really think about it, you know, the connection that we have for Avi Kwa Ame, how to get people to understand the sacredness of it in our traditional ways, in our creation stories. And it was very hard, so I had to go back in my reports and presentations that I've done over the years, some of them like 25 years ago, and I read over more books on the Fort Mojave Tribe, but mostly I had to think back to when I was a little boy. The world was a little different then, and towards the evening time, after swimming all day and playing in the desert, we would go home, and after everything is done with, we didn't have our television sets or radios or nothing. A lot of us didn't even have electricity or running water. So we would sit outside, and the old people would come and sit in a circle and just talk. What we call Ichkanav, Ichkanava. That means the storyteller. So I just went back and I started just writing things down here. And remembering the old people, the way they talk, their words in English were very deep and direct and strong because they spoke from the heart. So this is what I'm going to read to you. In the first times, we were many, free to roam the lands, free to worship our beliefs and traditional ways. When I was young, it was good to feel the earth beneath my bare feet, to swim and drink water straight from the mighty Colorado River. We ate the fruits and plants that grew throughout the land. We prayed and worshiped at our sacred sites. For the Southwest tribes, the desert was a paradise. To us, the desert plants was like a huge medicine cabinet. To communicate with all living creatures, protect and respect the earth was and still is our tradition. Now the land is slowly being destroyed by illegal trash dumping, vandalism, and graffitis everywhere. Wind towers and solar panels are all over the place. When I was young, I would listen to my elders. As the youngsters are listening to me today because I am their elder. And that was the whole purpose of, for me and Nora work at the Aha Makav Cultural Society. If we don't teach our young kids our traditional ways, we'll cease to exist. For the Aha Makav, we were put in this land to protect our sacred sites, the air, the mountains, the river, the desert plants and animals. When I walk near Spirit Mountain, I am not just the person walking towards the mountain, I am part of it. This is the same for the river. Our elders say, if you sit by the river at sunset, the river will talk to you. If you listen to the mountains, they will talk to you, for you are one. When I was a young boy, I would hear stories about the river. For us, the river is spiritual, a living spirit. The river is who we are. When I first saw graffiti and illegal trash dumping at one of our sacred sites, I had mixed emotions. I felt sad, angry, confused, but mostly it was that helpless feeling. It was like I failed to protect the land and I failed my ancestors. I couldn't understand, how could anyone do this? This place is our church, our place of worship, our place of creation. For the Mojave people, every part of this earth is sacred. The wind is precious to us. The wind that gave life to all living animals from their very first breath was also there when they received their last. It is like the trees. They are with us from the time we are born to the day we die. When we were babies, we were put in cradle boards made from the mesquite and willow trees. Going through life, we use the trees for food, clothing, tools, weapons, our houses that we lived in, and last, being cremated when our spirits leave our physical bodies. In the first times, if a prophet had came into one of our village and foretold his future that said, in the coming years, we will not be able to swim and drink out of the river, that our sacred sites would be blown up and become sandhills, that we will not be able to breathe the clean, fresh air, that we could not hunt and fish at our favorite fishing holes, to come and go where we please, and that we not will be able to communicate with the animals anymore. We would not have believed him. We believe in animism, that is, all things are alive and have a spirit. Avi Kwa Ame was and continues to be one of the most, if not the most important landmarks in Mojave territory. It is the site of many events in the ancient times. Above the mountains, the stars told stories that we told our children. For us, the Big Dipper was fishermen throwing a large net into the water to catch the fish. The Milky Way, to us, is a large amount of salmon traveling up the river, going back to where they were born and reproduced. The stars also told the time and direction to travel at night. Avi Kwa Ame is also a place of learning. To this day, we take our kids there to learn our creation stories. They learn about the desert animals that lived in the area and how we use the desert plants for food, clothing, mostly medicine. Avi Kwa Ame is also a place where we would hide our kids when the government came around to take the children away and force them into boarding schools. One of those schools was the Fort Mojave boarding school. The parents would hide the kids way back in the trees in Grapevine Canyon. Avi Kwa Ame is our place of creation. Matavil, our creator. Matavil's home is called Aha Ulpo. It means dark house. It is called this because he made it out of the Black Mountains near where Hoover Dam is today. I was told it's still there, but now it's underwater. And I don't know about this drought. Maybe it's showing again. I don't know. Avi Kwa Ame is the residence of where Mustum Ho lives. Mustum Ho is the son of our creator. He's our version of Jesus. For us, Avi Kwa Ame is sacred. The land in which we were born is sacred. Our graveyards are sacred. The ashes and dust of our ancestors are sacred. We only want to live and worship our Creator and tell our creation stories to our children. like others all over the world. We want to live as our grandparents did and all our ancestors before them. If Avi Kwa Ame is taken from us, you will also take away the aroma and the freshness of the air after the desert rain, the innocence of baby desert animals playing on the desert floor or following their mother's trail across the land. How can you take away the sound of the river as it flows by? How can you take away the sound of fish as it splashes back into the water? The croaking sounds of frogs so early in the morning, the birds flying high in the sky, or the gentle touch of the wind. If this should happen, all we ask is to love it as we have, care for it as we have, protect it and respect it as we have, for the whole world is precious. There is more I can say, but it's really, really very hard to explain. You know, as I said before, a lot of our words are very deep, and to say them into the English language, it kind of loses its meaning. When our chiefs or elders would talk, their words were that very deep and strong, and it came from the heart. You see, what I'm trying to say is, if I'm standing in the water or on the land, or I'm riding up there in the sky somewhere, I'm part of it. We are one. For Native peoples, our sacred sites are very spiritual. It is who we are. That is the connection. So with that, I have just one more thing to say, and that is Malays. That means my friends. Humer niantaya. Guraf ma sumachahot. Meaning, my friends, we will see each other again. Thank you, and have good dreams.
Thank you so much for that, Paul. It's worth mentioning that not only did Paul eloquently express the meaning of this place to the people of the Mojave Tribe, but that Avi Kwa Ame is sacred to 12 different Native tribes from our area, including 10 human language speaking tribes like the Mojave people, and also the Hopi and the Chemehuevi Southern Paiute. And it's also part of the Southern Paiute Salt Song Trail landscape.